Hello everybody! Today we're going to unbox, take a close-up look, assemble and test the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. So let's first take a look around the outside of the box. So in this box is a Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair, and just taking a look at the details of the box packaging. And now let's go ahead and open up the box by, of course, cutting apart and open the clear packing tape that's keeping the box securely sealed. I'm doing so very carefully with a penknife. And as you can see, there's plenty of packing tape to cut open. And then we've seemed to have just managed that. And just unfolding the box packaging to reveal the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. So giving you a look at the chair as it is in its box packaging. Now let's lift the chair up from the box. So there's a bit of maneuvering to do. With lifting the chair out. So just being careful here, stepping into the box and plopping the chair on the floor. And there are two boxes inside, and just giving you a look at the details up close. So two separate boxes. So two front legs and two back legs. And now just checking through, making sure nothing else is left in the box packaging. Okay, so that appears to be the box empty. We can set that to the side and just setting it to the side and bringing the chair back in view, and of course the two inner brown boxes for the front and back legs. So four legs all together. So just trying to set it down so you have a full and complete look at the contents from this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chairs box packaging. So right there are the contents. Now let's open up the inner boxes. So starting with the front leg box, and of course cutting it open very carefully here. And just setting them down on the tabletop for now. So giving you a look at the pair of front legs with the fixings right there of the bolts and the Allen key. and the pair of legs. So they're giving you that close-up look at the details. For the legs of this chair. So setting that down, moving on to the next box, we have now the back leg box. Now let's open it up as well. So doing the same, cutting through the clear packing tape. And let's try that again. And this time round, with the back legs, you can see a pair of the back legs for this chair. Okay, so right there, two pairs, setting them down, and you can hear that they are made out of metal. So two front and two back. Let's not mix them up. So just setting that right down, and those details right there. Okay, so giving you that full and clear look. Doing some readjustments once again. Moving the seat back into a more central position so you have a full and clear look once again at the details of this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. And I'm just going to spin the chair around as it is with the canvas bag on it. It is a canvas cover with a drawstring keeping it covered. So it's just rotating that around once again and then shifting it back, of course. And the legs, let's take a close-up look at the legs. So bringing the pair of front legs, let's remove the protective foam covers on them so you have a full and clear look at the legs. So the pair of legs for this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair, made out of metal, and you can see 3 bolts to go in each leg, so giving you that close-up look. And the bottoms as well. The feet or the base of the leg does swivel, so trying my best to give you that focus right there. So you can see it's capped with a ball-like joint that swivels. Okay, so giving you a look at that close-up detail. And of course, metal. And that detail right there with that matte black finish. Okay, so the cap, by the way, at the bottom is made out of plastic, but otherwise the rest is completely constructed from metal. So setting the pair of front legs down, let's move on to the back legs. So we do have the back pair, and they do appear chunkier. I'm not sure whether you can tell, or maybe it's just me. It might be slightly chunkier for the back legs. So right there, once again, we see those caps or base for the feet and that matte black finish. No, I'm actually mistaken. They're actually the same thickness. So I'm holding the front leg in this hand and in my right hand the rear leg. So rear at the top, front at the bottom, both equal girth. Okay, so just setting the front and back legs to the side, and of course we have the packet of bolts, which I've shown you before already, but now with just the bolts in hand with the included Allen key, giving you that close-up look. And of course you can see the specifications or details of the bolt measurements. Okay, so moving to the seat back itself, let's remove the cover to reveal the Habitat fabric chair. So this is the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair, and it does have a coarse weaving right throughout, so giving you that look. And of course you want to see it up close as well. So just giving you a close-up look once again at the details of this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair in grey. So it is 87.5 centimeters deep and 78.5 centimeters wide, and the height of the chair, including the legs, is a meter tall or high. But obviously the legs not fixed on right now as yet, because we're still just looking at the overall and finer details of the chair. Okay, so right there. And for scale, of course, standing right next to it, I'm about 5 foot 8 inches tall with somewhat short legs, but nonetheless giving you some perspective right there. And let's take a look at the seat cushion, and there is an actual instruction with this chair. So the Habitat Robbie Angel Wing chair, and let's open it up and take a look. So giving you a look at the details right there, and flipping over to the next page. And the next page. So that's the assembly instructions for the Robbie fabric accent chair. So just setting that down, just sweeping that loose piece of paper aside. Right there, giving you that look once again. Now let's go ahead and of course assemble it, but before that as well, giving you a look at the seat cushion or base. So you can see that there are 3 Velcro strips on the underside, and there is a zipper or slider tucked into this pocket here. So concealed slider right there, so just about pinched it out, and if we slide it all the way across, we can see, well, let's go all the way across, so without a tab to hold on to, slightly tricky, but it's by design, and giving you a look at the foam insides of this seat cushion. So right there you can see that foam inside, and just pushing it from the back, giving you a look at the firmness of the material. So rather firm. Okay, so let's slide it closed. So obviously not the easiest thing to handle, Gonna use one's nails, and there we go, right there. Zip up close, and this time around, giving you the ultimate close-up detail of the fabric or textile of this chair. So you can see that covering right there. And of course with my hand on it to give you some perspective of the material. Okay, and of course the thickness of the seat cushion. So you can see just how soft and firm at the same time the seat cushion of this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. So just setting that down, and of course giving you a look at the seat right there and the other details. Of course with the seat cushion removed, and let's just set the seat cushion to the side for now. And we can see that there is a zipper on both sides of the chair. And let's lean the chair forward with the base facing towards the camera. You can see some further details with the mounting holes for the rear and front legs, and some information on the underside as well, so giving you a look at the details right there. So right there you can see the labels on the underside, and the zipper does come all the way around towards the front of the chair. And of course not forgetting that there is a tag here, so giving you a look at the tag for the chair as best I can. So guarantee information, opening that up, and of course the back as well. Okay, so setting that down, and of course there is the fire resistant label as well, or fire resistance label. So this time around, standing on this side, bit of a change, and giving you a look at the fire resistant label or resistance label. Now let's go ahead and assemble the chair. So just tilt the chair forward, and of course giving you a look at the firmness as well, the overall construction of this chair. Now let's take a look at the instructions or diagram. Okay, instructions, of course. Setting that down, and let's open the pack of bolts with the Allen key or hex key inside of it. So popping the Allen key out, and of course the bolts as well. So I'm going to give you a close-up look with or at a couple of bolts from the packet with the Allen key as well. So right there, the hex key, and the bolt. Okay, all right, let's set the back legs in. So back with the B, just making sure that we face it in the right position as well. So having a flip through. So the arrows should point forward of the chair. Okay. So as you can see, or just about see, there is a B lettering with an arrow facing or pointing outwards of the leg, so that arrow should point forwards of the seat. So let's do that. So making sure that the arrow is facing forward, and of course making sure that we line the bolts or bolts in perfectly. Okay, so this is going to take some time, of course. Just getting the right alignment into the hole, but sometimes it's worth just moving the screws around and still just checking through to make sure and testing them with a different set or different leg. So let's put everything down so we can focus on inserting one bolt at a time. So there is a little bit of resistance. I'm just being careful here not to strip the thread of the bolt or the actual hole, so doing so carefully and very, very patiently as well. So having tried it in a variety of ways, I've just gone and applied more pressure just to get things started a little bit. So that should be right. They seem or appear to be lined up. At least for now, let's just leave it there and just get the other leg in for now before screwing the bolts in. So I should actually angle the chair facing the camcorder so that you guys can actually see what's happening. So definitely some effort needs to be applied in putting the legs in. So before I put the front legs, as they'll get in the way of me screwing in the rear legs, let's tighten the bolts up now. Let's see how well they turn. So that one seems to be turning nicely into its hole. Let's try this one. And that one doesn't feel quite right. So let's pop it out and try another screw. So as you can see, quite a bit of playing around to do with getting the bolt into the hole nicely. Let's just move on to this one for now. And this one appears to be turning quite nicely right there. Nice and smooth with a little bit of resistance. But this back corner one doesn't feel quite right, so once again I'm gonna have to keep adjusting on that one, but we'll come back to that. And let's move on to the other leg for now and screw in the bolt on this one. So as you can see, this one screws in quite nicely as well, as opposed to that last corner one on the opposite leg. Let's see. And this one appears to be going in quite nicely as well, with just that little bit more resistance. And let's try this outer corner, which I'm not so confident about. Once again, appears to be the outer corner bolts. So I'm gonna try pick another bolt to screw into the hole, and let's see how well we go with this one. And okay, there's some progress on here, but here, okay, so I think we really just need to apply quite a bit of force to get that last corner bolt in. So, to give you a look at what's going on, so we have three bolts for each leg, and right now we've not had one fully installed leg yet, or at least not safely. But this will be the first one here, with this very laborious process, as you can see, using the hex key. And here goes the type 1 here in the outer corner. And there's still quite some length to go on that. So You want to make sure that they are tightly screwed in. Okay, so that's one leg done, and just 3 more to go. So with this one, we've only partially screwed in 2 bolts. Third bolt will need to be screwed in as well. All set. Now let's see if we can. Okay, so let's fit the third bolt in. Let's go over to this side to do it. Okay, and let's get it going, and that feels like a really nice start finally of getting that third bolt in for this rear leg or back leg. It's right there. So I'm guessing it's taken us about 10 minutes to fit one leg securely. And there are 2 more legs to go. Once we're done with this second leg. So 4 legs in total for this chair, 2 back and 2 front. So just feeling that final bit of resistance now with this third bolt or screw. And just checking the rest to even out. Okay, so rear legs have now been installed or assembled into the chair. Now we move on to the front. So let's do the front. So turning the chair to the side, and let's do the front legs. Just feeling that loose strand of hair. Okay, so once again, with the arrows pointing forwards, and that's how it should be installed. So let's do that one in the further away first. And just loosely putting the bolts in for now. Obviously they need to line up with the thread of the screw hole. And that feels nice. And of course, the third bolt for the first front leg. And that sort of feels right as well. Okay, now let's start screwing in the bolts a bit more, just so we're sure that we've lined them up properly. And then we can move on to the next leg, and of course we don't want to fully tighten them just yet, just in case we need to make adjustments for the final leg. So once again, with the arrows or arrow pointed forward, let's set the leg in. And of course, actually before I do that, I should give you a look. I mean, I've come this far, but giving you a look at the bolt in relation to the plate or base of that leg. So right there, some sense of the overall details. Okay, so right back to the chair, and of course ensuring that that arrow is pointing forward. We've got that bolt in, and the final two bolts out from its packet, so no spare bolts. And just dealing with that bolt there. And lastly, the final bolt, just getting it screwed into position. And we can start tightening them. Let's do that. So turning quite nicely. And some resistance there. And let's move on to the next one. course just balancing out the screwing in of the bolts, making sure that we apply or screw them in evenly so that we don't encounter resistance and issues with screwing them in. So we'll come back to doing the final tighten on that front leg in a bit. Let's move on to this leg, and the reason for that is about energy conservation here. So saving my strength to do the hard bit or tough bit at the very end. So back to this leg, let's tighten it up, and let's see, so right there, tightening the leg, so you can see plenty of bolts to deal with. Okay, now we switch to the leveraged position of the or grip of the hex key, so we can really tighten those bolts into their holes. And let me just move the chair around so you can see just a little bit more what's going on with the tightening of this final bolt. Okay, and just doing a once over. On all the bolts. And the final tightening of the front leg. So all four legs fitted onto the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. Let's give you that look right there with the 4 legs fitted, 4 metal legs with those end caps that pivot or swivel. Okay, so right there, 3 bolts per leg, 12 bolts altogether. Let's stand it up, of course, bending at the knees. Right there. And just setting that instruction or assembly instruction to the side, and care instructions as well, and of course you can see the hook and loop strips and the chair fully assembled, which is the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair or angel wing chair, with that angel wing or scallop design for its back. So giving you a look at the overall details now that the chair is assembled. See that very rounded and minimal design of the chair. And let's bring it forward a little bit more and make sure that it is in view. So let's keep rotating the chair for another 100 or more times. So you have an absolutely clear picture of all the details of this chair. So that full-on look as well, directly from the back. Alright, now let's go ahead and test it by sitting on it. Okay, so it does have a very supportive and firm back. And very comfy and firm base as well. So medium firmness with, of course, as you can see, with that seat cushion, which I've also shown you up close in detail with its foam filling on the inside. But nonetheless, giving you that complete look at this Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair So once again, the dimensions of the chair does measure 1 meter tall, 87.5 centimeters deep, actually, that way, and 78.5 centimeters wide. So once again, 1 meter tall, 78.5 centimeters wide, 87.5 centimeters deep. And let's bring it in closer so you can see that much more detail. And of course, the overall construction and textures of this chair. So still testing it out by giving you a look at the various positions and angles when I'm set in it. So there's plenty of depth in this chair with its 87.5 centimeter depth measurement. So that's the Habitat Robbie fabric accent chair. Thanks for watching and happy sitting.